Good afternoon to you. I'm Danilo Evangelista, and welcome to our afternoon update for today, Saturday, June 28th, 2025. I'm back this afternoon because after quick developments throughout the day, we now have Tropical Depression 2 in the Bay of Campeche. I know, very surprising, right? Just this morning, when I first came on with you, we had Invest 91L here in the Bay of Campeche, and it looked like it had a shot to develop and become a tropical depression or tropical storm, and this probably will become a tropical storm, and I'll show you the cone in a little bit. But it only had a 50% chance this afternoon. It looked like it, but it organized very quickly throughout the day today, and recon went in earlier this afternoon, and they found a well enough defined low level circulation that the National Hurricane Center was able to classify this as a tropical depression. So now we have the second tropical system of the season in the Atlantic. Maximum sustained winds right now, as of the 5 o'clock advisory, which came out not long ago, maximum sustained winds are 30 miles per hour. A minimum central pressure is at 1,011 millibars, and if you are tracking it, it is located at 19.3 north and 94.2 west, and it is moving west-northwest at 7 miles per hour. Here's a satellite imagery of Tropical Depression 2 this afternoon, and you can see not the best looking depression, not the most organized looking storm, but there's definitely some sort of broad circulation you could see in here. Once again, the aircraft recon went in. They found a closed low-level center with enough of a wind shift that they were able to classify this as a system. And the Bay of Campeche too here also helped with its development, especially with the shape of the coastline. And sometimes we get these kind of situations here, especially with these quick spin ups heading into Texas, where the shape of the coastline really helps with the wind organization of the storm and helping close off the low level center. And that's what happened today. So because of that, we now have Tropical Depression 2, and this probably will become Tropical Storm Barry. That is the next name on the list in the Atlantic hurricane season this year within the next few hours. It's expected to become a tropical storm by tomorrow afternoon. In fact, tropical storm watches are in effect for portions of the central northern Mexican coastline. And really quickly, just showing you why this has been designated a tropical depression. Recon went in and they did find a wind shift here. You could actually see, especially in the bottom here, westerly winds, meaning that this definitely has a closed low-level center. And in fact, the center was organized enough that they were able to declare an official fixing on the pressure, and they found a pressure at 1,011 millibars. Very high pressure, and very funny that both of these systems that formed so far this year in the Atlantic had very high pressures, although that's probably going to change, and we're probably going to see a little bit more of a more normal low pressure for a tropical storm, probably in the mid to low thousands, especially as this will probably strengthen tomorrow. But the National Hurricane Center was able to fix an official pressure on the system, and that definitely means that this was organized enough that they were able to call this and pull the trigger, as we say, and call it a tropical depression. You could even see on the 850 millibar vorticity, quite the potent vorticity here in the southern Bay of Campeche, and even here in the Pacific with 95E, although it's still a little bit elongated at this time. And even with tropical depression 2 here, the vorticity is still elongated. Looks like some of the energy is still on the coast, if not slightly inland over Mexico. But especially, and I'll show you the GFS in a little bit, this will probably organize throughout the night and throughout the day tomorrow before it makes landfall late Sunday night into overnight, late Sunday and into early Monday. And really quickly, here's a radar look of Tropical Depression 2, and you could definitely see quite a potent circulation there, although we really don't need to rely on radar as much right now since we actually had recon in the system. And by the way, there will be more recon tomorrow morning, so we'll be able to see by tomorrow morning if this has strengthened at all and we'll probably also get the help of surface observations nearby. But you could definitely see the circulation on radar. And we'll probably also be able to use this radar loop to see how this organizes, which right now there's not a lot of organization just yet, although there are some heavy showers and thunderstorms over portions of the Mexican coastline right now. It looks like quite a bit of heavy rain through Carmen, and we'll probably see lots of heavy rain throughout Mexico, especially into central and northern Mexico as this organizes and then makes landfall late tomorrow night into early Monday morning. And I'm going to show you that here on the GFS model. Let's take a look and see how this plays out. You can see definitely organizes a little bit more, especially as we head into tomorrow. And then especially tomorrow afternoon, a very, very tight, small, low-level center develops. I mean, the low-level center is already very small, but a very tight circulation develops. And then you can see it here, makes landfall overnight tomorrow into early Monday. And then eventually it moves inland over Mexico throughout the day Monday, and it'll bring heavy rain and all sorts of threats that you typically see inland over Mexico when we have tropical storm landfalls. But I said this was going to happen, and the Bay of Campeche, it works its magic. Something about the Bay of Campeche, and especially the Western Gulf in general, where we really tend to see these quick spin-ups that can really form tropical systems on short notice. And I'll show you the H-Wharf here right now. Actually, the H-Wharf, they don't have it for 91L anymore because now they have to run it for Tropical Depression 2. But earlier, the H-Wharf did actually have a pretty potent system. I believe they actually had this becoming a moderate to strong tropical storm, and especially with quite the small circulation there, although it is very potent, the vorticity is very strong. It's just we have a very, very small low-level center here, especially with this kind of setup. It would not shock me in the very least if this depression strengthens pretty quickly, and obviously it'll become Tropical Storm Barry because that is the next name on the list. We already had Andrea, which happened earlier this week. So 2 storms within 1 week in the month of June. Very funny how he went from it was looking like it would be a dead June. It was looking like for the first time since 2014 we were going to have a July start. And bam, what do you know? The tropical Atlantic surprises us as it always does, and we end up having 2 storms. And that's why, and I tweeted this earlier on Twitter, that's why you should never ever bet against the Atlantic Basin. And we're going to have Tropical Storm Barry. And judging by the fact that this is definitely a very compact system, and I just showed you the GFS, we have a very small circulation, I would not be shocked if this is able to quickly intensify, and we might actually have a decently strong tropical storm out of this. Probably won't be a hurricane. There's definitely not enough time for that, but wouldn't shock me. Maybe 50, definitely 50 in my opinion, but maybe even 60, 65 miles per hour possible before this makes landfall in Mexico late tomorrow night. Would not shock me in the very least. And I will continue to keep you updated on this depression. Let's see how strong this gets. I'll definitely have a video discussion for you tomorrow, maybe even multiple. And I'll definitely be posting a lot throughout Twitter for the rest of the evening, especially now that we have Tropical Depression 2. So if you are not subscribed to my channel yet already, and you're not following me yet on Twitter, please make sure to do so. And if you subscribe, make sure to turn on the notification bell so you can get videos the moment I upload them. With that being said, enjoy the rest of your afternoon and evening. Keep a watch of the tropics, especially if you are in Mexico and you are going to be impacted by this depression, soon to be Tropical Storm Barry, probably. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace, love, and kindness to you all. I will be back with you again very soon.